Oh, this is interesting. So Elon just announced here, and we're going to talk about some of this. The Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserve to know what really happened. So this is a big deal. So it looks like Elon is about to, or Twitter itself is about to publish kind of what went down internally with it. Now it's his data, so he gets to do that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people scrambling out of that, employees and whatnot, former employees that are going to be scrambling out of that, because what this will do is let everybody in on. And if he's saying it, like, let me say this. Obviously, he knows what the shit says, but he wouldn't for sure release that. He wouldn't at all release this if, this is huge. He wouldn't release this if it wasn't damning. Let me just say that. If it was just a nothing burger, he wouldn't release it. So clearly there was some, and we all knew, this was a coordinated effort when definitely the height, like post, 2018, 2019, especially 2020. And like the ramp up to get people off of the platform, suppressing sort of certain viewpoints and really, I don't like to call it free speech. It's not more so. I think that's not the proper term to really use in the context. It's more of Twitter had favorable views. Okay. Those were the ones that they wanted to exist without any sort of interference. The views of the ideological enemies were the views that they did not want to exist. It's as simple as that. And when you infiltrate, or rather you control a platform that has a high user base, that's the benefit it is that you get. They knew that. They understand it. I've been telling y'all that leftists play the long game. Do not look at them through the lens of fair fight. You can't do that. It's impossible, because they don't fight fair. They look at it like, I want to do whatever is advantageous to my views. That's it. Do whatever is advantageous to their views. And of course, allowing their enemies' views to manifest itself is not what you want if you're them, period. Which is why one side was overwhelmingly, it's not even close. Believe it or not, there are actually weirdo leftists that think they're the ones that get suppressed on social media, which again, that's being in a completely different dimension. We knew that y'all had favorability. That doesn't mean that there weren't people that got banned or that were leftists. It's just saying it's probably like a 98 to 2% split, right? We know that, but I'm interested to see what this is. I'm interested. And I certainly want to know how many of them were working directly with the government, or like what were the policies rather with Twitter that had them working directly with the state? Because that's fascism, right? And I keep telling these crack smoking ass leftists who sit up here and pretend that, well, fascism is guy that they don't like, that maybe leans a certain way, doing something that they don't like. That's not what fascism is. It is essentially the merge of corporate, or rather of business and state, corporate and state. That's what it is. That's what it is. So when, under Trump it happened as well, but when you have, through emergency authorization acts, the government, federal and local, but especially the federal government, where they give themselves the authority to hijack people's already existing factories, to build ventilators, which we found out wasn't really effective. That's a prime example of what fascism is. Okay, when a company works hand in hand, they under this guise of private ownership. No. You are absolved of private ownership when you start working directly with the state. Okay, that's not what that is. This is why I hate the term private prisons. That's a stupid term. When the private prisons, all of the money that they get is solely funded by way of the state, right? That seems to have been a term for leftists to use for a broken system so they could demonize private property rights. That's why the term private ownership exists, right? But nonetheless, these guys, that's what I want to know out of this. How many of them, or not how many, to what degree were they working directly with the state? And what members, what agents of the state What agents of the state were actually, let's say, prominent in influencing that actual policy within the company? You know? That's what I'm interested in. So we'll see. But yeah, he just said this not too long ago. The Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserves to know what really happened. So apparently it wouldn't be a nothing burger. Something happened. And I don't think it'll be anything mind-boggling. Like, it'll be like, oh my God. It'll be like, yeah, we kind of knew that was happening. This just kind of affirms what it is that we already knew, type of stuff. Makes it more concrete. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that just happened.